if there's any if there's any character that is pretty much the protagonist of this channel, it is none other than my favorite Warframe name, Excalibur Umbra. Well, yeah, my name too. So today's video, we're gonna go over my Excalibur Umbra, and I hope you guys will enjoy this video or uh, take this one as an advice or something. Uh, because Excalibur Umbra, well, he is my favorite Warframe of all time, and I even got his name from it after retiring my old names. So I might as well give it a shot. Let's see what I got to build so far. Okay, before we get to our mods recommendation, we gotta acknowledge our 5 Tile Forge Violet Archon shards, and we chose the main theme of this one is melee critical damage, which means we gain 37% melee critical damage. When the energy is over 500, the damage boost is double. We decided to go all full out on well, I decided to go full all out on melee critical damage. Yes, and the difference is we can get our war, for example. Well, we had a 12.3 times damage critical multiplier instead of the usual. And with our Exalted Blade, we got 9.5, almost 10 times critical multiplier damage. Okay, now here's my mods setup or builds. Just ignore these two. Okay, Steel Charge. That's our number one. Squad gets 60% melee damage. Always get it. Just go out there and get it. Now the alternative is using growing power, but that's only when you're using like the example like Chromatic Blade, for example, because on status effects with weapons, squads gets increased personal ability strength by 25% for 6 seconds. It, but you always want to have Steel Charge. Steel Charge is just better, so just get Steel Charge. All right. The next up is Warrior Rest. I've been playing with the Warrior Rest a lot. Sure, back then it was controversial, well, having 15% as an increase to ability strength, but he no longer fights independently alongside with his operator or a drifter if you're a drifter. But I know mostly we all are drifters. Which I tested it and it's actually pretty positive because by the time, let's just say for example, Power Drift, I put Power Drift on it and I come out of my Warframe and I lost all my buffs by the time I get back to my Warframe. That is an absolute no-no. So Warrior's Rest is the number one pick for this passive augment. And as you can tell, we get Umbra Vitality, Fibber, and Intensify. Always have these. Because what Excalibur lacking so much is survivability in most steel path parts. So so we always want to have all of these ready, no matter what. First off is Chromatic Blade and Furious Javelin. Chromatic Blade, it gives us Exalted Blade. It gives us Exalted Blade. Emesis. Well, depending on our Emesis color and status chances, is increased by 300%. And not to mention, we have our emphasis is white, so that means it does cold damage. And with cold damage, it will be a good reason to run the Chromatic Blade. The next one is Furious Javelin Augment. Each enemy is hit by the javelins increases Excalibur's melee damage by 15% for 16 seconds. Ability strength and duration is affected by this one. And so now we get 24.8 seconds, almost 25 seconds, for the duration of this Furious Javelin augment. So, so our next up on is Prime Continuity Duration. So it doesn't hurt to have duration. It Hunter Adrenaline, and so that way this 45% of the damage it converts into energy without shields. Ally overguards emits health. This is a very good S tier mod, because in case of your health, if you ran out of and you take health damage, you pretty much have 45% of the time will be converted to energy, which means it'll give us a lot of time to spend time on Exalted Blade. Hey, and Archon Flow, because we have a cold element, because we have cold now, we have a 10% chance to drop an energy, and the cooldown is 10 seconds.
It's me, Jay, for the future. I forgot about the arcane recommends for Excalibur Umbra. Yeah, we got Arcane Fury, which means it gives us on critical hit. It gives us 60% chance for 180 more melee damage for 18 seconds, and then Arcane aim on hit 15% of chance for 60 plus attack speed for melee weapons, especially when using melee most of the time and using an exalted blade. So yeah, forgot to recommend that.
Okay, before we talk about the weapons and all, I do stated that whilst Excalibur is good outright, and it is always my favorite, he always struggles on abilities. Which yes, I do appreciate Slash Dash and getting a buff, but mostly the javelins. So, what is my recommendation for using Excalibur Umbra? Well, it's simple. You can always go Wrathful of Ice. You don't care about survivability, go ahead, knock yourself out. Use Kilgoroth's Wrathful Advance. But the number one thing you should have is Eclipse. Replace that slash dash with Eclipse. If you hold it, it will temporarily increase your Warframe's weapon damage, and just tap to take reduced damage by 75%. That is huge. That is like non-invested one. And even if it's like not really like invested, it's really good for survivability defense. Sure, you can have damage boost, but Eclipse is just outright better when it comes to uh, 75% damage reduction on this. Now, the weapons, I really don't touch base of it, but I'm going to go down to one of my favorite weapons in this game currently. The Stern Prime, yes, I name it the Remington Shotgun because I reference Black Ops 2. So this one right here is meant to be a multi-shot monster. So we get and with even more multi-shot, we get Shotgun Vendetta, which is with enemies getting killed by the shotgun within 5 meters, we gain even more multi-shot and reload speed, 8 for 15 seconds. It's galvanized acceleration because we're gonna get kills with, we're gonna get kills with the shotgun at longer ranges. I got galvanized suave, galvanized hell, prime point blank range. We got blaze, vicious spread, and now we got the the Stern State Sato Tuxedo. I can't spell it, pronounce, but we got even more multi shots coming from this Riven Maw, as well as Toxic and Cold, which would give us viral damage. It and with Prime Chilling, we got even more viral damage coming up. And finally, Vigilance Aminus. Yes, not sure with that, we get 22.9, almost 23% guaranteed vital damage, and plus EA heat and slash. So we pretty much got a good amount of status chance, but it gets crazy in its incarnate form, which not only does all of the weapons that we have attached to it, but we also have blast elements coming out of it. Our next up is the Epitaph Prime, and it's personally my number one ranking sidearm in the game. It's always been the best. So this time around, I revolved it around putting status element. It is a really good conditional overload, and the best thing apart about this one is like on the quick shot, like on a quick shot, it, it will automatically apply cold damage. Yes, despite having cold, toxin, and scourge, and thinking it will ruin it, nope, it will also apply cold regardless. Regardless. So we're gonna in our in our secondary, we're gonna have a secondary deadhead, which means if we manage to get a precision headshot, we gain 120 damage for 24 seconds, stacks up to three times, 30 plus more headshot multiplier and recoil and weapon recoil for 50%. Now, the alternative for this one is the second in chamber, which means on status, which means we don't have on status 24% chance to trigger a second random status effect. And so I decided to go in creeping bullseye, frostbite, pis- pistol, paladins, scourge, lethal turret, galvanized diffusion. Use our river mod for the epitaph and the hornet strike. This one doesn't really matter, but I like flipping weapons back and forth, so yeah, reflex draw for it doesn't hurt that much. And our last favorite weapon of mine, before I even liking the Galatine, is the War, or Stalker's weapon. Yes, I always like Cleveland Whirlwind. It doesn't matter. Discipline members, which means opportunity occurs every 4 melee hits instead at random. Um, and this time, our arcane will be melee exposure. On ability cast, it gains 60% corrosive damage on melee strikes for 25 seconds. Stacks up to 240. So not only that we're dealing with heat and viral, we all every time we cast our ability, we can also get corrosive damage with this weapon too. So that leaves us, which is fairly enough to leave us to having Northwind, Prime Fever, Molten Impact, Spoil Strike, Spoil Strike, a War Galaxy, the War River mods, Conditional Overload number one, Sacrificial Steel, and Sacrificial Pressure. All right, since we got some melee in there, yes, no heavy weapon, no mods that revolves around healing. Don't worry, I got a special reinforcements that can heal us. Yes, we got Prime Fever Strike, Shocking Touch, North Wind, Vicious Frost, Focus Air Radon, and so that gives us the ability to have air radiation on our weapons, and I have pretty good success with it. It too. Conditional Overload and Sacrificial mods. Now that we got all the mods and review our Excaliburs, now what will heal us and gives us some survivability? The answer is simple. I have a Vasca Kavat that basically basically a vampire Kavat. Now this Kavat it gives us link directions, link vitality, prime. Now what will heal us is your prime leader. It means heals your companion on hits if except the healing and grants overguard. Grants overguard, but this perk is a main one. Warframe heal for 30% damage and companion dealt to. Ew. So as long as you are dealing damage with a melee, hey, you're gonna heal this one almost every single time. And Hunter Command, yeah, Hunter Command basically basically applying slash damage status causes the companion to attack them for 6 seconds, not 60 seconds. And then we have draining bite and transfusion. That means when Excalibur is down, when my Warframe is down or the Master is down, the Valkyrie has sacrifice 20% of his health to raise them. Now draining bite, Vasca inflicted 5 stacks of Yeah, slash at the hit at 150% of its melee damage to restore health 10% to itself. And now Sharpened Claw, a vicious claw. Yeah, and now Sharpened Claws, which are vicious attack, dealing 300% damage that shatters, that armor strips, strips by 120% and rends its flesh. Now the claw, unfortunately, I didn't get enough mods. I'm gonna need more mods for the Vasca Kavats. But so far, it's pretty much the same thing. Viral heat, eat slash. That's pretty much the main combo member for this. It's but that pretty much wraps up my build for Excalibur Umbra. Hopefully you enjoy. Hopefully this will be the good build and survive. And until then, see you next time.
プレイステーション